Studying the MBI at Sadim was one of the most wonderful and unique experiences in my life. I did it in a very important part of my life when I turned 50, and I needed to reinvent myself, reinvent my business, and it helped me to understand myself, to understand what I did, why I did it, who I did it for, and to give it that crisp edge of uniqueness. I've had many role models, and many different role models on different aspects of my life. So I've had role models in spiritual parts, or role models as a woman, or role models as in business creativity. My all-time mentor is Gandhi. I think he was great in innovation. He managed to do one of the hardest things, which is to fight peacefully, to achieve his goals peacefully, to do everything in very fine and unique equilibrium. Perhaps he never called that innovation, but it's certainly a very innovative way of finding independence, through peace and through understanding and through collective agreement. So he would be one of my great role models. Others would be women I know today that are 90 years old. A lady that I've admired all my life because she's been in innovation without even knowing the word. I don't think she's ever used the word innovation, even though she was very innovative herself. And I saw her a few months ago, and she was 92 years old, and I asked her, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, I've just opened a new company." I said, "Really?" She says, "Yes, because one always has to think about the future." So she is definitely Carmel Guerdes, and she just passed away not that long ago. But she was really a great role model to me as women that managed to balance their personal lives with their goals, with helping society, and to make all the parts of her life come together into a beautiful, beautiful puzzle. I'm using everything I studied in the MBI to redesign myself. And although my business has many projects that we do for many clients, nowadays the project that has my heart and that doesn't let me sleep at night is redesigning myself, redesigning my next 50 years, redesigning how I want to leave a legacy of what I've learned and how I've learned it and how that can inspire others. And I want to create products, and I want to tie all that into a beautiful project that in the center is myself. And it's been very difficult to get to that point. It's taken me 50 years, 50 years to decide that that's what I want to do, that I want to inspire others through the knowledge and through everything I've done badly, everything I've done wrong in the past 30 years as a designer. Well, I have worked with many clients in my studio, and the fact that I did do the MBI, that I did this, that I studied innovation, that I designed, that I studied design thinking, that I managed to bring all these different disciplines together and make them weave together into a beautiful spectrum of knowledge and business and sense. And I have guided many of my clients, and the results have been wonderful because they've seen their own business from different attributes, from different sides, to understand their clients, to understand what their real business is about. So I have helped many businesses, especially for instance Sherwin-Williams in Central America. I gave them quite a bit of lectures to many people in the company as to how they could become more competitive and more unique, and how they could stand out from all the other painting companies in Central America. And they started opening universities for designers, and they started opening up methods of training people that paint, so that they no longer sell paint, but systems of achieving goals of it, like painting your whole house, but not the paint anymore, not gallons, but a system and a service. So many of these attributes and things we've studied in the masters ended up as very, very important key points to make them more competitive and unique. So that, with respect to clients I'm doing now, I'm using all that for myself. So how the new projects I want to do, everything I want to do now, like seeing myself as a product, seeing myself as a company, seeing how I can bring my personal life and goals and knowledge into something that makes sense and that can help people. And using all the methods, the methodologies, the frameworks has been unique, has been a blessing to understand myself in a very complex environment. I think there are many beliefs that are embedded in culture, that are embedded in our education. And I believe sometimes people think about innovation as something external, something you learn from the outside, when real innovation has to start from within your mind, from within your heart. And that's when it really happens. That's when magic starts to happen. And one of the things that is not easily changed are our systems of belief. Our fear of change, our fear of being ridiculed, our fears, internal fears that everybody has. And our clients have those fears, we have those fears. Even when we want to change the world, but we have to start by changing ourselves. And sometimes our very, very deep fears. And I think that is one of the greatest things that innovation has to fight. And those are our old ideas of education, old ideas of who we are, what happens when we change, fear of change. When you change, a little part of you dies for something new to be born, a new company, a new method, a new anything. So we fear death so much that's why we fear change. I think change is the greatest fear and the greatest challenge. I've been a startup all my life. Everything I've done is a startup. And I think the greatest challenge every startup has is oneself. Yeah, so when you say, okay, you have to start a new idea, start a new project, that intellectual bit is the easy bit, because that's knowledge, you study it, you change it, you structure it. But the real change, about changing yourself, what we just said, changing your fear, changing yourself, changing what you think, no I can't, no I can, yes, but what will they think of me? Will I be able to change? What if it's not a success? What if I look like a fool? What if I say things that people don't believe in? And innovation is about that. It's about being brave enough to change ideas. And disruptive ideas, those people have to be the bravest of all, because they go against everything and the current beliefs of the entire society. So imagine the nerve and the security and the discipline that startup, that person has to have to be able to say what I believe is the truth, and that will change the world. What a nerve. The hardest thing in life is to stand up for your ideals. Our education is not designed to have children, adolescents, people stand up for their ideas. If someone stands up and says, I believe in this, shut up, and you fail, sit up, sit there and do everything everybody else does, So we're not training people at school to become innovative leaders. And then suddenly we want them to be innovative leaders when they study innovation. There are lots of things that we have to change. And that is the greatest handicap of all startups. They run out of passion. And the passion is the petrol that they need to continue with their ideas when everybody else tells them they don't work. And then you find a new way. No, well, not this way. Let's think of that way. And that's what innovation is about. But we're not trained from the beginning to be innovative. The hardest thing for startups, for people, is to believe in innovation as part of themselves, to become innovative. I find that one of the great problems that startups have is that they say, okay, what, you need money? My goodness, money is the easiest thing to get. No, it seems like, oh, where do I get the money? But money, you just get money from wherever the money is. You know, just get money. The problem is that they have money, but they lack everything we said before. They lack the passion. They lack the continuous energy to get up when they squash you, when they squeeze you, when nothing works, when everybody hates you. But then it turns out that nobody's really done their homework and they don't do design. And I've been judge of many, many competitions for startups, and I want to cry with the design. The ideas are fantastic, but the design? Oh my God, you could cry for the design. They haven't thought about how it can be competitive internationally or how it can be seductive to their markets. You know, they haven't thought of that. So then they go with little passion, money, you know, and they just dive into a sea of crocodiles, you know, and some of them come out and other ones just get swallowed on the way. But I think we need more design, and to be more resilient, and to not give up, ever. I think I have always done design thinking, even before I knew that word existed. And I started doing design thinking because I started first as a graphic designer, then I started doing textile design, then I started working with indigenous communities, then I started doing interior design, then I started doing architectural design, then I started writing books and illustration, then I started bringing all that together into very complex projects that have to do about transforming people and making people happy and blooming by how we bring all those different disciplines of design together. So that's the way my mindset has worked all my life. And in fact, until I studied the Masters in Business Innovation, I always thought that was a handicap. I always sort of felt I was a fraud in life because I was a designer doing architecture, and I was a designer writing books, and I was a designer giving lectures, and I wasn't really prepared to do anything I was really doing. And then when I studied this Masters, it was like, wow, I mean, there are more people like me, you know, there are more crazy people like me, you know, people that have like all these pigeonholes full of ideas, and one of them inspires the other, and this one gives color to this one, and this one helps you see this other thing in a different perspective. This design thinking is just to be able to think like an umbrella and embrace all different kinds of knowledge into one, and to be able to see one problem in 360 degree angles. And it's richer, it's wonderful, it's enlightening, it's inspiring. It's given me the right words to articulate what I have thought all my life. It has given me like the way to understand, to join the points, as Steve Jobs said, no? Like all these strange things I've learned in my life, how do they all come together? And now they have come together into something that adds so much meaning and life and joy to my life. So I am immensely grateful to the MBI for everything it's taught me. The first time I came to Sedim, I had never heard of Sedim before. And since then, I have heard Sedim everywhere. And Sedim was wonderful. The Masters was wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I've had people saying, yes, but I can't afford an MBA now. I can't afford the time. I can't afford the money. And I said, look, if you can't afford the money, you need to do it because you need to be more competitive. And if you're more competitive, you'll have the money to pay for it. In fact, I gave a few lectures, thanks to everything I studied at the MBI, that paid for the entire master's. So if you don't have the money, do it. If you don't have the time, do it. Because you need to find more innovative ways of having more time, or to make the time you now spend on work far more productive, far more creative, and that will give you more time. It will give you more time to invent yourself the way you want to lead your life. It will help you design your project, your company, the way you want it to be. Thank you, Sadim. Thank you, MBI. I feel great. And do you know that the graduation was on the day of my birthday when I was 50. So I remember I made the presentations saying, today is the first day of the rest of my life. So when I turned 50, the last day of the graduation, I bought myself an hourglass. Yeah? And I felt that the day I finished the MBI, I bought an hourglass and I turned it round. And now I'm ready for the second half of my life.